We are joined here today by Brianna Gonzales-Hartwell, entering her fourth season as the women's volleyball coach at Chaffey. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. Happy to be
Absolutely.
here.
Let me talk a little bit about you. Two-time AVCA All-American First Team Selection, two-time SCIAC Player of the Year, two-time All-SCIAC Performer, and two-time All-West Region Selection. In 2008, named NCAA West Regional Most Outstanding Player, named to the NCAA All-Tournament Team. Let me keep going. 2009 NSCA All-American Athlete of the Year. Currently third in Laverne's record books in career kills, fourth in career digs, and third in career sets played. Coach graduated from the University of Laverne in 2009 with a bachelor's degree in psychology and is currently pursuing her master's in educational counseling. So the resume speaks for itself. We are honored to have you here. And again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Coach, I always start these videos. Obviously, we're all going through a lot as far as this pandemic and how we're dealing with it. I do a wellness check. How are you doing? How is the family doing? How are your athletes doing? And basically overall, how you been dealing with this pandemic?
Yeah, 2020 took us all by surprise, right? And as athletes, we're kind of used to those type of settings, but this is a little bit different, a little bit tough for everybody. Our mantra in our house, my husband's a head coach as well, has just been one day at a time, just like we tell our teams, just like we tell our athletes. So we're just trying to focus on that, taking care of our daughter, taking care of each other, and still taking care of our teams and our athletes and checking with them.
Well, let me ask you that. I mean, before we even jump to this call, you were just dealing with your athletes, giving you a call, doing sort of a check as far as what they're doing. Tell me a little bit about your program and the way you're managing your current student athletes in your program.
Yeah, well, it goes without saying that this virtual reality we're all living in now is not ideal. And it's been tough for everyone. It's been tough for the athletes, especially. So I think early on, we just kind of had the attitude of, we got to do what we got to do. Everyone's in the situation. We can either stay stuck in it and feel bad about it, or we can try to find a way to keep moving forward one day at a time. So with our coaching staff, we continue to have a weekly meeting since March, every week, on Zoom with everyone. And then we've just had to get really creative with our trainings online, but still giving them things to do at home, things to do in small groups, virtually at home, and still trying to do some team bonding stuff virtually as well. Even if it's just connecting, asking how they're doing. I think the biggest thing, obviously the biggest change is just having a more empathetic understanding of everyone's situation. Some of our athletes are working more now. Some of them have families who don't want them to leave the house, just because of fear. So just really trying to understand and support them the best way we can during this time, and still keeping them motivated that this is going to pass, right? That this is temporary. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's amazing that you're doing that. And obviously the success that you guys had last year, and, keeping that, mantra per se, or philosophy for that matter, in order to make sure that everyone's doing okay. So that's definitely kudos to you and the entire program over at Chaffey. Let's get right to it. What a great year for the program. Calling it successful would be an understatement. 21-4 overall, 8-1 at home. Before we get into the accolades, tell me a little bit about the season, Coach. What made that year so special and so successful? I mean, we can go through, the accolades that you guys received. Let me start off with that, and then we can talk a little bit about the program. Obviously, inaugural IEAC conference champions. You had 6 players named on the IEAC All-Conference team. Kendall Mincy earned back-to-back MVPs. Also was named on the All Southern California team. You yourself, Coach of the Year once again. That's back-to-back Coach of the Year accolades for you. 6 players earning All-Scholar Athlete honors. Coach, that's just some of the things that happened this year. What made that so successful?
Um, they enjoyed it. They had fun. They loved each other, and they enjoyed working hard.
Sure.
That was really the biggest difference, I think, in this
Mhm.
year's squad. We had a small team. We had a lot of um, unpredictable like injuries and personal stuff at home with some of the players, and we had a larger squad in the beginning of summer, and by fall, things changed a little bit,
Yeah.
and sometimes it was changing on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
um, there were times we were running several different lineups in practice, not knowing who we might have to really start the day of, just because of some of the injuries and things we were trying to manage and take care of. So it really goes to the players for their resilience and their hard work and their focus on continuing to move forward, for sure. But our culture is always focused on team first.
Hmm.
It's always focused on just getting one day better. We never focused on winning the conference championship. We never
Sure.
focused on anything like that. We're focusing on, let's get better tomorrow, and then let's get better the next day, and then little by little that mentality starts to build. And they always focus on their energy and their effort, because that's what we can always control, right, in any life
Sure.
situation. So um, that those are like the core components of what we talk about, and they really um, embraced them this past season,
Mhm.
and they went with it. So yeah.
Well, let me elaborate that a little bit more. Everyone knows about Kendall Mensah, Cecilia White, Taylor Johnson, Iba Youssef, Mackenzie Loring, Juliana Hernandez. I guess you can kind of say these players were the quote unquote core, or the players that were the obviously all conference members. But I believe that, as you were starting to mention, it takes a whole team in order to be successful.
Right.
Um, who are some of the other players that definitely stepped up last season that gave you guys all the success?
Yeah, Kaylee Harris was and is returning, a huge player for us. She had a tremendous preseason, and then had an unfortunate injury in a tournament right before
Mhm.
conference play started, in a preseason tournament. Um, and she has been recovering since then, and she got surgery right away. So um, we are looking to have her back, and we're excited, and she's making tremendous progress. Um, and so she was somebody that was extremely helpful in getting us our start
Mhm.
in the beginning of the preseason, getting those wins early on, and having a huge impact. So I know she's hungry to get on the court,
Mhm.
and we're excited to have her. And I know Kiba's returning as well, and
Huh?
we're excited to see the growth in her. And she's been super motivated at home during this time. So with their leadership next season, we're excited to see what's going to happen.
Coach, you brought up Hiba and Kaylee, two of the six players I believe that were all scholar athletes.
Right.
You had Kaylee Harris, Amanda Lewis, Mackenzie Loring, Kendall, Cecilia White, and as you mentioned, Hiba Youssef. Tell me, of the awards that you all received last year, and just speaking with you, getting to know you, why are why is this specific award that important for your program? These guys being given the Scholar Athlete Awards.
Sure. When we're recruiting at Chaffey, we always make sure that everyone understands that academics is first. Um, I want our athletes to know that education is key for them,
Yeah.
and what they're going to accomplish next. And you know, we try to get them as successful as possible, and working with our academic counselors, our online tutoring centers, our in-person tutoring centers in a normal setting on campus. So we're constantly tracking their academic progress and checking in with them, and making sure that they understand it's student athlete.
Yeah.
It's not just athlete. And their education is something that no one can ever take away once they achieve that,
Yeah.
right? And we're really focused on helping them achieve their goals in the classroom and on the court. Um, And sometimes, you have players that decide after a year or even a term that, coach, I kind of just want to focus on my studies,
Sure.
and that's fine. I tell them all, like, we're here to help support you in whatever your plan is. So if things change, that's okay, because that's your journey, right?
Absolutely.
And it's got to be a good fit for everyone. So yeah.
That is a great message. Speaking of which, Mency is recently signed to Chicago, a D1 school.
Mhm.
Cecilia is going over to Cal State Dominguez Hills. You're losing two big guns of your program. It's not
Sure.
very often that that a two-time MVP walks in through your doors. How hard is it going to be to replace these two players? But even more important from that, I guess, moving forward, how's the recruiting been? Every single coach that I talk to has different challenges as far as how they're recruiting. How's it been going for you guys?
Yeah, I'm thankful to say that as of now, we have a squad of 16 coming in. However, that was larger in the beginning of summer again. So you never know what can
Yeah,
happen, what can change from now until spring. Um, but we're just trying to still attract people to Chaffey. We're trying to let them know what we're about, what our goals are, even in today's scenario. And again, just reminding them that this situation is temporary, and how can we help you in this situation as well? What can we do to keep you on your goals and be part of the Chaffey family? Because it's still a good time to be a Panther, I believe. And we're excited for the new squad coming in for sure. And Kendall and Cecilia were huge for our program.
hmm
And we're so thankful to have their impact. And they were a big part of um, building the program and helping us
sure.
achieve that success. And they're both two talented, smart individuals that are going to achieve great things. And I'm excited to see where they go and play.
Quick question about those two. Have you just give me a quick, brief description of what made each one of them special?
Sure. Well, Cecilia was such a strategic player. She has the volleyball IQ, and she has the skill as well. Um, I love that she is a gamer, and that is apparent in practice as well. She's very competitive,
hmm
um, and she's learning to really develop her voice on the court. And I'm excited to see that continue to grow at the next level at Dominguez Hills.
hmm
Kendall is just such a physical, competitive player as well. She loves to compete. She loves to win. They both love to win. So that is great when you have players on your court that just love the competitiveness.
Sure.
And yeah, Kendall is just super athletic, right? And she's got a great attitude, good leadership. And for her size, I'm just so proud of that kid for continuing to develop and prove to herself that she could play at a high level.
hmm
And I'm excited to see where she goes for sure.
Hey, Coach, last question for you. And thank you once again for joining us. This has been absolutely great. What's the one thing that you've learned to cherish more, or even remind you more of the important things in life during this pandemic?
I think faith and family for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, those are always important, right? But when you are at home in an unpredictable situation, those things become really important. And you realize just how much just how much we all need each other too, right? Like sense of community
Mhm.
and social interaction and just being there for one another. So we've been trying to do what we can to safely either communicate with people, see
Yeah.
people in a safe distance, and keeping our faith strong for sure.
Beautiful. Well, Coach, thank you again for your time. We're definitely going to keep our eye on you guys. Next year, with the success that you guys established this year, you guys are definitely. Again, thank you so much for your time. Please stay safe, and we will be chatting soon.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Coach. Okay, bye bye.